After a 2-year battle to legalize chickens in Salem, Barbara Palermo and her group, Chickens in the Yard, are busy planning for the future. Their role in the community has changed. They remain a powerful force for urban chicken advocacy, but they now assume the role of educators and event organizers. Now that chickens are allowed, Palermo and her group plan to demonstrate that Salem residents can keep chickens in a responsible and safe manner.
We do want to do it right. We want to show them that we're capable. So in doing so, the best way to do that really is to educate people. And there are people out there who, of course, have had raised chickens before and know what they're doing. But there's a lot of people who are just coming on board with this concept and are excited and eager to do it, but really aren't sure quite how to go about it. We want to make sure they go about it right. Me and my friend Linda are able to teach a lot of things about raising chickens, how to choose, how to raise your chicks, how to design your coop, what breed to choose, those sorts of things. And we're going to teach people how to do that.
Classes on raising chickens have already begun. Their detailed course covers basic topics about choosing breeds, feeding chickens, and maintaining the coop.
One of the things they call it is pecking order. And when you have your 3 hens, number 1 pecks 2 and 3. Number 2 can't peck number 1, but she can peck number 3. And number 3 can't peck anybody. And it goes on down the line if you have more chickens.
Palermo has found an unlikely partner in Salem City Councilor Chuck Bennett. Bennett represents Ward 1, which includes some of the older neighborhoods in North Salem. 3 of the neighborhood associations opposing a chicken ordinance happen to be in Ward 1. Likewise, Bennett opposed chickens from the beginning.
In Salem, when you're going to change something that involves the way people live next door to each other, the most common way to deal with it, and we do it with all of our planning issues, and if you'll recall, this began as a planning-related issue. It goes through our neighborhood groups, and this issue had not been through the neighborhood groups. It had not, when it did finally make it through the neighborhood groups, interestingly to me, the 3 neighborhood groups that were opposed were in my ward. And they were these inner city neighborhoods who live pretty close to each other. That's where you find most of the 4,000 square foot lots. And I think there were some outstanding issues which over time were resolved. And to the credit of the folks advocating for chickens, they had agreed to a number of changes in a proposed ordinance to try to make it work, particularly in areas of the city where lots are smaller, people live closer together, where dogs are a problem, cats are a problem. Loud kids can become a problem among neighbors. Add to that chickens, and you've got some issues. Well, I found, I guess, after a period of time, that there was really no reason to be opposed. There had been enough changes made in the ordinance. I think we arrived at an ordinance that had what I called chickens with rules, and the rules, I thought, created a situation where it was pretty much impossible as a matter of public policy to vote no. So I voted yes, and I think that it's been a credit to all involved that we were able to find the kind of compromises that I think make this work.
It was the Chicken Revolution documentary that helped to change Bennett's mind. Chickens in the Yard produced the film to document their struggles and to educate the public about the benefits of keeping backyard hens. Bennett is now a vocal supporter. He's even arranged to make a conference room available for teaching classes. Another partner has emerged in John Hendersen. Hendersen owns a feed and garden store in Dallas. He donated a ready-made coop to Habitat for Hens and expects to provide resources, tools, and advice to Salem residents eager to raise chickens.
Raising chickens is a lot simpler than people think it is. Keep feed in front of them all the time, keep water in front of them all the time, and keep them at the right temperature and keep them safe from predators. And that really is what it boils down to. We've seen a trend in the last few years where people are starting to get much more involved with finding out their food supply, where their food comes from. They're more concerned about their food. I think chickens play a great, easy role in that. Because they're easy to raise, people can do it, feel good about what they're eating when they eat the eggs. It's simple. It's a connection. I think people need a connection with their food supply. You know, for years and years and years, eggs came from the grocery store. Meat came from the freezer aisle. It stopped there. Nobody thought of it past that. And I think as people do, and the more aware they are and the more involved they are, I think they tend to make better choices.
It's about not only your right to raise your own food, but it's also about property rights. It's about educating children about where food really comes from. It's about living green. It's about reduced pest control. It's about so many things. That's why it attracts so many people.
Initially, it takes an investment to do it, but the nice thing is that after you've paid that investment for the coop and the pens and the waters and the feeders and the chickens, the cost from there on out becomes pretty easy to live with. So do you save a lot of money by doing it? Probably not. Do you get a lot of satisfaction? Definitely.
We see people be real thrilled they own dogs. We see people that just think having cats is the best thing that ever happened to them in their lives. And I heard from hundreds of people that said they'd like to have the same experience with a food-producing animal like a chicken. So I think that's good. That's good. People feel good about what they're doing, and why we should limit those opportunities without very, very good reason. And I think we ran out of good reasons.
Urban hen keeping is very, very popular now. It attracted, like I said, there's 800 people in my group now. So it attracted a lot of people and just sort of grew a life of its own. And I was the leader of this group. After a while, I guess I was just committed. I was in too far. There was no going back. And a lot of people were depending on me. A lot of people want chickens, and they were waiting for someone to take the lead and go do it, and they were supporting me, and I just felt obligated to carry it all the way through, so I did.
For more information about chickens in the yard, their classes, and upcoming events, visit salemchickens.com.